Hi guys, this is GSMDome.com and I'm here with the freshly unveiled OnePlus Nord 3. It's pretty much a challenger for any flagship on the market because of the fact it hosts a OnePlus 11 main camera, the Sony IMX890 sensor. Aside from that, there are multiple other attributes, but let's start with the design. So the price should be at around 500 euros, and these are the two colors. We got a sort of green here and a sort of fancy gray. The green is glossy and the gray is, well, matte. Now, it's polycarbonate here, in case you're wondering, for the back and the frame. The frame is somewhere around 8.15 millimeters, while the weight is 193 grams. If you look closely, you're going to find that they put the mute button here, the silent button, physical one, in spite of the fact that you usually had it on flagships. This is not a flagship, it's a mid-range, a high mid-range. So yeah, the design is pretty comfy. It's got some IP certification, most likely resilient to splashes rather than dunking it in water. And it's very flat frame, flat screen, and pretty easy to wield. Even though it's got a big screen, it's a 6.74 inch panel, full HD plus AMOLED with LTPO. You can go between 40 and 120 hertz per second, which is useful for gamers, among others. Okay, so we covered the screen, which is pretty bright and solid. Now we can easily go to the settings and let me show you the, well, CPU. Dimensity 9000 from MediaTek. It's basically the one that powered the powerful gaming phone Asus ROG Phone 6T Ultimate last year, accompanied by quite the RAM, 16 gigs and an extra 12, basically 28 gigs of RAM on a cheap phone, affordable phone. 256 gigabytes of storage, UFS 3.1 if I remember correctly. And aside from that, we also have a 5000 mAh battery with 80 watt charging, Super VOOC and bundled in the box. Sounds pretty fine for me. We also have stereo speakers. There's one here, and I'm guessing there should be either one here or the earpiece. We have an infrared emitter, believe it or not. There's 5G connectivity. There's also Wi-Fi 6, so yeah, everything's covered. And USB-C, at least 2.0 port, I'm sure. We have high-res audio and the promise of Dolby Atmos for this handset as well. Now, other things we're mentioning, I think we've covered everything hardware-wise, and we may be headed towards the cameras. Now, at the front here, we have a cutout for a 16 megapixel shooter. I'm very curious the resolution it films in. And at the back side, there's a triple combo of 50 megapixels. I'm talking about Sony IMX890 from the OnePlus 11, two interestingly integrated LED flashes, optical image stabilization for the main 50 megapixel camera, 8 megapixel ultra wide and 2 megapixel macro in this area here. If you ask me, I would have ditched the macro camera and used the ultra wide one with autofocus to, well, do the macros. Options include panorama, slow motion, extra HD, film, dual capture. There's a pro mode here, macro, time-lapse interval. Portrait will feature the special functions from the Oppo phones like bokeh flare and a bunch of other filters, cool looking ones. In the photo mode, you can apply AI tweaks to the image. They will apply to scenarios like food, like landscapes, like flowers, and etc. You can also do video, and I'm happy to inform you, you can do 4K 60 frames per second video, which is usually something that a flagship would do. Special stabilization here, ultra stabilization, which happens in full HD 60 frames per second. And finally, a night mode with an included tripod mode. Okay, so that's it camera-wise. I have great expectations from it, seeing how it's the camera of a flagship. And if you go here, you're going to figure out that we have a bunch of special features like split screen, flexible windows, fast launch, sidebar, kit space, simple mode, and zen space. And if you do this, you're going to find the sidebar and the well, floating windows which can be overlapped on top of your split screen multitasking. Now, gamers will also be happy to find that we have a bunch of features here, ranging from game capture to all sorts of configs, performance mode, and other crazy stuff. Even a big cooling chamber is here to power the MediaTek 4nm chip CPU, and the fact that it's, well, tries to avoid throttling and overheating during gaming. We also have the promise of 30 minutes of required charging to go from 0 to 100%. And guess what? This is Android 13. They have escaped the shelf feature, and we're promised 3 years of Android updates and 4 years of security updates. In a nutshell, this is the OnePlus Nord 3, finally a real flagship killer. Last year, the OnePlus Nord 2T actually killed the OnePlus 10T with similar specs. Now, there won't be a full flagship for OnePlus, but this one should do it, the OnePlus Nord 3. Very promising, has most of the features of a flagship, and I look forward to see how it will sell. Looks pretty promising at first. Please be sure to leave in the comments which one is your favorite color, the gray or the green. That's it from GSMDome.com. Hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye.